Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. This edition of The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for it goes Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at a wedding, and even more so at yours. Who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry at the same time? Whatever gift like Grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears, well, those just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. And don't forget to check out the Mike Wagner Show on over 30 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter today. Check out the Mike Wagner Show merchandise at themikewagnershow.com. with t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, and a lot of goodies. Go to Amazon.com, check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/me and Wilson Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles, for great merchandise, t-shirts, pop socket hoodies, and a lot more. Amazon.com/me and Wilson Zia. Make sure you check it out. And don't forget to give generously to the MikeWagnerShow.com, also on Anchor FM, as well as PayPal, and make sure you do so today. He's backed by popular demand, a very terrific gentleman, singer-songwriter since the 80s and 90s from Pittsburgh. He has a group called Little Wretches. He also counsels abused, traumatic, and neglected youth, and a long-term cancer survivor, and also Play with No Shelter, and co-founder of the Calliope Acoustic open mic stage. And he's got a brand new release out, which is Live at the Mattress Factory, songs from the land of pit bulls and poker machines. We'll talk more about that. And of course, we had him on the show last, talked about Undesirables and Anarchists. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful Pennsylvania, he's back, the very multi-talented Robert Wagner. Robert, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
It's great to be here. You know, I'm looking, the last time we spoke, Mike, it was just audio. And now I'm looking, and we're both Wagners, you know, so I'm looking at the resemblance, like, wow, we might have a little common heritage not too far back. If I put on some glasses and those kinds of headphones, you and I resemble each other a little bit.
Here, why don't you try mine? So let's see if this fits on you. So okay, I think that'll work. So we'll try that one day as well, too, like we come live or whatever it is. So it's great to have you back on. You've been doing this since the 80s and 90s from Pittsburgh. You were the Little Wretches, counsel abused, traumatized, and neglected youth, and long-term cancer survivor. You had a previous release, Undesirables and Anarchists, and you also Play with No Shelter, founder of Calliope Acoustic Open Stage, and you also got a new album out called Live at the Mattress Factory, songs from the lands of pit bulls and poker machines. And, tell us about the title, and how'd you come up with that?
Well, you mentioned Pittsburgh a couple of times, and Pittsburgh, most people probably think of steel or the Steelers, you know, when they think of Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And very little steel is made in Pittsburgh anymore. And there was a time when you could drive around, and every, you know, across from every mill, across from every workplace, there was always a bar or two bars or three bars, and guys would go across on their lunch breaks and knock back a shot and a beer and then go back to work. And when all that industry closed, you know, those bars were really struggling to make a buck. So the two things that you would see, you'd see on their marquees, they would have karaoke to attract people to come in, because they, of course, couldn't afford to pay DJs or live music anymore. Mm-hmm. And then they all have poker machines, which, of course, are strictly for amusement only. There was a big scandal in a neck of the woods right outside of Pittsburgh where my mother's family lived, where some of the elected officials and, you know, police chiefs and so on were, they were running a ring of illegal poker machines. And, you know, since they were responsible for law enforcement, they certainly were not going to arrest themselves for it. But when people can't make their money in legit ways, they got to make that money, I guess. So that's where the idea of pit bulls and poker machines come in. And of course, you know, for working class people, I don't know what the status is for pit bulls, but, you know, when you go out for your evening walk and, you know, you see the young 20-year-old father pushing a baby stroller in one hand and holding the leash of the pit bull in the other. Oh, you know, there's and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth and his cell phone between his shoulder, and he's arguing with his girlfriend about why am I the one who has to go to pick up the Pampers this time? So that's the world left behind by. You know, when the steel industry, you know, there's all these river towns that people, you know, I think 1/3 of the population of Allegheny County left, or maybe as many as 2/3 left.
Mhm.
And the people who stayed behind were those who were either were too poor, too crazy, too stubborn. You know, so it's a special breed of people stayed behind. Now Pittsburgh's taken over. It's pretty much run by people from Brooklyn and Seattle. You know, everybody loves Pittsburgh now. The Google is there. But for 25 years, they had to try to convince people we're not the smoky city anymore. We're the most livable city in the world. Haven't you heard? Do you remember all that propaganda? Pittsburgh is the most livable city in the world.
I did read something about that, and the fact that they built the Pirates built that new PNC Park. They got rid of the River Stadium, and they made like sort of an artsy community where it's like instead of having like, you know, the bars and all the you know, roughnecks and everything else around the Pittsburgh area, where it's like it's all artsy. And then I saw it a few times, you know, watching the Cubs every time they play at PNC Park. You know, being from Chicago, you know, families always there with strollers. You got the kids, you got the artists, and it's colorful and everything. And of course, you could tell it's greatly changed. You're becoming very artsy and you know, very trendy, uppity, and everything else. And that's the same thing too, like along the lines of the former steel belt cities. They've gone, you know, quite artistic. It's like Buffalo, and you got Cleveland, and then you've got Gary, Indiana, of all places, Chicago, Milwaukee, and anything along the lake, which was taken up by the steel belt, is now pretty much an artsy community. And Pittsburgh's been pretty much leading the way. And thanks to Google and other tech companies, it's like, you know, Pittsburgh's becoming a livable city again. I can see why people from New York and Seattle and all the big cities are coming to Pittsburgh, being affordable. And of course, some can even watch you as well too. You know, like a whole new audience for you.
Yeah, well, there's the guy who's the outgoing mayor, Bill Peduto, when he was just a councilman. So we're going back maybe 20 years. He actually had a big meeting down at the city county building, sort of like a call for artists. And so all the musicians and artists went down there thinking, okay, you know, we're going to get some kind of gigs working for the city. And basically he was arguing, we will sell you storefronts. We will sell you property with storefronts on the main streets of basically rundown neighborhoods. They had done some research and they said the first step to a neighborhood turning around from being a ghetto to being on the rise is when the artists start to move in. So his thing was, we'll sell you the places for almost nothing. Just get something in the storefront. So there are some neighborhoods in Pittsburgh that started out Lawrenceville, Bloomfield, that what had been vacant storefronts, they were all became art galleries.
Wow.
And then those people, of course, you know, 5 or 10 years later, they're selling that property off at a huge profit. And so that was the idea, is that the artists moving in is the sign that the community's turning around, and then you build from there. You know, of course, I wasn't, you know, I got to roam the world with my guitar. I can't be tied to some storefront. And you know. So you know, I didn't buy any of the property, but I know some of the people who did made a killing off of it. But Pittsburgh's a great place, and you mentioned PNC Park. I've seen the Cubs at PNC Park a few times. Chicago fans come out in full force. A lot of people from Chicago. There have been times, because the Pirates have not always had the best teams. Mm-hmm. There have been times when there's more visiting fans in the stands than there are home fans.
Mm-hmm. And of course, too, the fact that you also have some other sports teams, but that's another subject as well, too, that when you played the Little Wretches from the 80s and 90s, and of course, you know, it was a different scene. Now you've got your own music, and you kind of play with them with some as well, too, that what would you say that, you know, do you think the crowd is it being like larger, smaller, or anything like that compared to when you played way back, or are you getting like more of a respect at this time around, or it's like, I'm trying to compare two different eras for you here.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get a read on it, because I do this. What I do, you know, I'm singing the same words, I'm playing the same chords. I've been playing acoustic guitar mostly for about 20 years, and most of my gigs are solo acoustic gigs. So there were people who really liked us in like the loud, roaring days. that, they didn't cross over into the more acoustic stuff. And then there's other people who discovered us with the acoustic stuff, and they don't care for the loud stuff. For me, I think of it more as like artists like Neil Young or Bob Dylan. We cut across genre. We have very reflective acoustic stuff. We have pretty aggressive electric stuff, but the songs are the songs. I could play the songs in any number of formats. And I don't think too much about the audience. Seek and ye shall find. What we do probably isn't for everybody, but for the people who connect with it, it can be a life-saving experience. I can honestly say music saved my life, and maybe my music will help to save somebody else's. I mean, as preposterous as that might sound, it's true.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you're helping people as well too. That you also counsel abused, traumatized, neglected youth, and also long-term cancer survivor. And also,
can I tell you? Yeah, could I tell you how I got into the at-risk kids thing? My dad, he grew up without a father. His dad died suddenly when he was maybe 5 years old, maybe 9 years old. They were kind of vague. It was a story that they didn't want to tell. And but when I was growing up, if I had any friends or kids on my baseball team or kids on my football team that didn't have a father, my dad bonded with them. My dad was really good with kids. And when you're a musician, there are times when things are going really well. You have a lot of money and you're playing, you're busy. You don't necessarily have a lot of money, but you're sustaining. And then you hit these dry spells where you got to do the humiliating thing of taking a side job. And for me, people were always telling me, I had a part-time job working for Carnegie Museums, and most of my colleagues were little old ladies who would shake their finger at me and saying, I see you teaching at one of those Dead Poet Society schools. And it's like, yeah, I could see myself teaching, but not at a Dead Poet Society school. If I want to be like my dad, I'm going to work with kids that, need help. So it's not the type of job that everybody can do, but with the background that I have, for whatever reason, kids, you got an anger problem, you don't have to explain yourself to me. I just get it. So I get along pretty well with kids who are angry at everything. And I hope this isn't shtick, but there are kids that get accused of having a bad attitude. Look at all the blessings that you have. Why aren't you happy? And the kid, can't explain why he's unhappy. Look at me. I'm living in this dump with a bunch of other teenage boys that stink, and I have no hope of ever going home until I turn 21. If you could look at my life and not know why I'm angry, that's why I'm angry. So it's not even work for me. I'm just hanging out with kids.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you're doing it really as well too. And we'll talk about your earlier release, Undesirables, and Erica's just a minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers to 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss grandma's meatballs, huh? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift for remembrance that makes you laugh and cry at the same time? Whatever gift for grandma's recipes, or just because Those smiles and tears will just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books. Bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. And don't forget to check out the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Take us with you anywhere. And don't forget to subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Check us on over 30 podcast platforms and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And for great gift ideas 24/7, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. Coming soon to the MikeWagnerShow.com. T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, throw pillows, tote bags, and more. Also, check out the Me and Molson Zia store on Amazon for some great books and great merchandise. Amazon.com/Me and Molson Zia. And don't forget to donate to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also on Anchor FM/support and PayPal. Make sure you do so today. We're here with singer-songwriter from Pittsburgh with the Little Wretches, Robert Wagner. He's back on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we continue talking about live at the Mattress Factory, last time we talked, it was Undesirables and Anarchists. So maybe once again, just quickly tell us more about it.
Well, yeah, it was a great album. And that was an album, very rocking album. But interestingly enough, it's a song on Undesirables Anarchists is also on the new album, except for the new album has the acoustic version. And they both reached number one at different times on the iTunes folk rock chart in South Africa. So it's pretty cool. Undesirables and Anarchists, it was just timely when it came out, and we got a lot of airplay out of it, and kind of gave me a new lease on life. Introduced me to some new audiences, and the title, that's what America was divided into last year. You were either an undesirable or you were trying to burn down Portland.
Oh God, I can think of so many cities they tried to burn. Was it Portland, Ferguson, Atlanta, oh my gosh, it's like, well, Minneapolis especially too. It's just like, what is up with that? Well,
there's people who feel like it's complicated. But back, I'm a student of history also, so not too long ago when they had what the so-called Arab Spring, which was made possible by Twitter. They could have never had all the revolutions in the Middle East and North Africa without Twitter. And I had some friends that would be reflecting via social media about how, wouldn't it be cool if we could have that here? Like, be careful what you wish for, man. We have it. People who've never been overseas, who never lived anywhere, they don't understand how well we have it. But when you had that George Floyd incident, that was like the perfect spark. I think it might have been Mao. Chairman Mao said something like a single spark can start a prairie fire. Mm-hmm. That George Floyd thing certainly started a prairie fire, and. Because just a few years ago, when they had the Occupy movement, I used to go down. I never camped out in Philly as part of the Occupy movement, but I went down about twice a week, and I was pretty impressed with. A lot of people really put it down. It's dirty and it's aimless, and they're just a bunch of parasites, but. I like the vibe about it. I'd go down for their general meetings, and the interesting thing is they were drafting a letter to the mayor of Philadelphia, and 6 weeks later they were still revising the same paragraph because everything was done by committee. And they had this thing called the People's Microphone. Did you ever see the People's Microphone in action?
No, I haven't, but I like to hear more about it.
Well, there's like. Whoever is the leader of the meeting, because it was supposed to be a leaderless movement, whoever was the leader of the meeting would be sort of standing in the middle, surrounded by this big crowd. So he would say something, and then the inner circle would repeat it, and then the circle behind them would repeat it, and the circle behind them would repeat it, so that without any amplification, the message could get all the way to the back. But of course, that's pretty laborious. So imagine a committee of 300 people trying to write a letter in which everybody agrees with every word that's in there. So 6 weeks later, they were still working on the same paragraph.
Oh my gosh.
And then when they finally vacated the City Hall of Philadelphia, their pretext was they did not want to get in the way of union workers, and there was going to be a big renovation project at City Hall, and they didn't want to stop union men from going in and putting bread on the table. So that they moved to one of the other parks, and that was pretty much the end of Occupy Philadelphia. But it was a cool scene. They had a little library, and they'd have crazy people giving speeches, and they'd be showing movies on the side as, like after the meeting at around 10:30 at night, they would put a projector on the side of the building and watch some old artsy movie. It was kind of cool.
It's only,
but same thing. But I saw. Okay, so you got this leaderless movement. When all the violence started with last year after the George Floyd incident. I just kind of get it. There's no way to stop it because it's like kids with a substitute teacher. Every kid in the classroom knows our job is to disrupt. Your turn, and then when you're done, then it's my turn. And it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh my.
So I think some of those young protesters, 10, 15 years from now, they will look back, they will have learned a lot, and they'll all become conservatives. That's my 2 cents.
Wow, that is really interesting. I learned a lot from you as well too, and of course, with live at the Mattress Factory, and it sounds like you're ready to play one of them as well too. We'll go and let you do that and play one of the songs. We'll take a time out. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson via Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Also brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is the key ingredient. Call Karen Shaw at Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. We'll be back with the multi-talented Robert Wagner live at the Mattress Factory, going acoustic after this time out. This edition of the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with the multi-talented Robert Wagner out of Pittsburgh here on the Mike Wagner Show. And he was with Little Wretches back in the 80s and 90s. And they got a new release out called Live at the Mattress Factory, songs from the land of pit bulls and polka machines. A great story. And of course, Robert, looks like you'd be playing something from that release, or if you got something for us, feel free to do so. Robert, take it away.
Yeah, okay. Well, everybody probably knows the folk story about Paul Bunyan, the giant with the big axe and everything. But you'd have to, if you're a real student, you might know. Mike, do you know who Joe Magarac is?
Joe Magarac. I've heard the name.
Yeah, Joe Magarac is sort of the Paul Bunyan of the steel industry. He's a mythological character. Pete Seeger and different folk artists have songs about him. But in Hungarian, Magarac means jackass. So there's a little bit.
You Magarac. I'm my vocabulary. You Magarac.
Yeah, but I think they pronounce it more like Magrats or something like that. But Joe Magarac, he worked 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and he would taste the molten steel to make sure it was done. And the song that I'm going to play is called "The Remains of Joe Magarac." So imagine a town, a river town, where everybody knows everybody. Everybody's somebody's cousin or somebody's brother-in-law. Everybody knows each other's business. It's a hilly community. At the bottom of the hill is the main street and the river. Cobblestone, like brick streets. They're all bumpy, and there's grass growing up through the bricks because nobody drives on them anymore because nobody can afford a car. And of course, you don't walk on the sidewalks because all the concrete of the sidewalks is all rotten and eroded. So you'd fall down and break your neck if you walked on the sidewalk. So you're walking down the middle of the road, and there's the kid with his, tank top. I mentioned before, he's walking his pit bull, he's pushing the baby stroller, all the same time managing to smoke a cigarette and argue with his girlfriend. And he gets down to the bottom of the hill. He's on the way to buy some Pampers, and the road's blocked off for a funeral. What's this? It's the funeral for Joe Magarac. Well, who's Joe Magarac? So he says, what's the matter? You don't know who Joe Magarac is. He's your uncle. Everybody knows Uncle Joe. So this is The Remains of Joe Magarac, and it's a little bit long, and it does have a curse word in it, the GD word. So instead of saying the GD word, I'm going to say dadgum, but everybody knows it's the people's vernacular. So here we go, The Remains of Joe Magarac. The remains of Joe Magarac's nephew in a casket shaped like a barge parades through the streets of the river town with a shockingly small entourage. A weeping contingent of sobbing old Union men dutifully follow behind as he stoically dumped in the community pit with a liberal spade full of lime. He stoically dumped in the community pit with a liberal spade full of lime. Joe Magarac's son-in-law's cousin takes a staple gun and posters the town and offers reward for any information. Where have our union jobs gone? On the overnight shift at the Unimart, she makes a quarter above minimum wage. I think I can, dadgummit, yes I can, and so would you if you had bills to pay. I think I can, dadgummit, yes I can, and so would you if you had bills to pay. Joe Magarac's school teacher's grandson spent 6 years in the federal pen. He could have gone free without serving time, but a man shouldn't rat out his friends. He maintains he was only a businessman, like any other businessman. 6 years he grieves. I think I can, dadgummit, yes I can. And so would you if you did business with thieves. I think I can, dadgummit, yes I can. And so would you if you did business with thieves. Well, Joe's barber's granddaughter's adopted son raises pit bulls in the garage. They're the cutest, the friendliest, sweet little pups. They're the playfulest, loyalist dogs. But he fights them for a wager in a blood-spattered alley. They live to fight, it's part of their breed. I think I can, you ought to see them go. You want to talk about a will to succeed. Oh look, it's no worse than any other sport. People pay to see prize fighters bleed. Go ask the riders undercover. Hey detective, go detect. Ask the cop who made the bust. Ask the judge who rigged the trial. Ask the DA who's trying to protect. Someone's getting rich from the drugs and the murder. Someone's getting rich from the war. Well, if you have any questions, better keep them to yourself. Why'd you drag my name into this for? One answers, go follow the money trail. We won't be seeing you around here no more. Joe Magarac never had to pay for a drink in this town. He never paid for a meal. Joe Magarac didn't need no college or dadgum books. He was born to make steel. Now he's rushing to the store in the middle of the night for detergent and diapers. Oh no, you're 80 cents short. Oh come on, lend me 80 cents. It's only 80 cents, come on. Sorry, Joe, you're 80 cents short. Oh come on, lend me 80 cents. It's only 80 cents, come on. Sorry, Joe. Joe Magarac can't afford the bus fare, and the wind chill is 14 below. He's got holes in the toes of his sneakers, and he can barely see through the snow. Hey, let me make a call on your cell phone. You remember me, I'm Joe Magarac. I think I can, dadgummit, yes I can. And if you do, you promise I'll pay you back. I think I can, goddammit, yes I can. If you do, you promise I'll pay you back. Listen here, all you Magarac's family and friends, you're all doomed to hard luck. 'Cause if you're smart enough to fight against the business of evil and greed, you're smart enough to make a buck. They buy off anyone who could make a difference. They say compromise is how things get done. I think I can, dadgummit, yes I can. At least I thought I could till they wore me down. I think I can, dadgummit, yes I can. At least I thought I could till they wore me down. People died so you could vote. People died so you could organize. People died like hogs and cattle in wars. In retrospect, the fight over lies. Got a light bill, gas bill, cell phone bill. We need milk, we need eggs, I mean, please. I think I can, dadgummit, good for you. I gotta worry about what's best for me. I think I can, dadgummit, good for you. I gotta worry about what's best for me. Well, here they come, around the corner again. It's the mourners, the straggling few. The preacher's voice through the karaoke machine warns the empty streets, this could be you. The casket is covered by a U.S. flag with a wreath of plastic, grapes, and wheat. Oh, what the hell? I don't know. You tell me what it's all supposed to mean. I don't know. You tell me. I'll bet I could if I really tried. And anyhow, what does it matter? You know I'm just along for the ride. We're on a slow train to hell, through the valley that fell. All aboard, make room, move back. It's a long ride to nowhere. I hope you brought a book and a sandwich or two for a snack. Ooh, cool. Looks like we're headed for a tunnel. Did I ever tell you about Joe Magarac?
Wow, that was amazing. Love it. Joe Magarac, Robert Wagner on the Mike Wagner Show. That was fantastic. That was just an amazing song. I love it. Love it. Love it.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You know, it just comes out of the blue. You know, a couple of the lines just popped into my head, and I remember sitting down and sketching them out on a piece of paper. That song wrote itself, you know.
Wow. That is something. I think a good portion of lyrics really hit home, you know, especially what's happening today. It's like your 80-cent shorts. Sorry, you got holes in your sneakers, and of course it's 14 below, and people going through, and you know, being short on diapers. I mean, it hits home, you know, a really good deal at this time. Amazing.
Yeah,
well,
something
I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's I've had a few of those experiences myself, you know, where you're short and, you know, come on, man, somebody lend me 50 cents, for crying out loud.
Here, I'll get you some right here. There you go.
Yeah. There's a lot of generous people out there, but sometimes they're not there when you need them, you know.
Mm-hmm. And it's all based on timing as well, too. And where can we find Joe Magarac? You just played also live at the Mattress Factory. And where can we find all your music and current material at?
Well, it's everywhere. You know, if you stream, it seems like everybody streams music now. I was just looking, you know, I had on one of the songs from the album, we had 10.2K streams last week. Wow. But I make like 0.4 of a cent every time somebody, you know, I make nothing. It takes like 250 streams to make $1. Now, if those were downloads, if people actually downloaded the music, you know, I'd make about $1 per download. So I'd be raking it in. But everywhere, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music. If you're one of those streamers, but real music lovers purchase music. Real music lovers have a music collection, and when people come to your house, you show them your music library. So this is the album cover for Undesirables and Anarchists. I don't have the cover for Mattress Factory laying around, but best way to get in touch with us, obviously, if you look us up, we're all over YouTube, but we have a website, www.littlewretches.com. Go to our website, join the mailing list, drop me a note, shoot me an email. We're pretty accessible, but we got a whole story. I mean, we got, you know, I guess now 12 albums that cross different styles, but you know, we're telling a story that nobody else is going to tell. I mean, come on, man, who else besides me is going to write a song like The Remains of Joe Magarac?
Oh my gosh, I gotta say, you're one of the best storytellers I've had on the Mike Wagner Show. You tell a terrific story. You're just amazing.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment. You know, I can get a little long-winded sometimes too. It's like when I have opportunities to play, like when you're playing at songwriters events, you know, and it's my turn to play. But my song's going to be 9 minutes long. You know, that's kind of rude.
Get a coffee.
Yeah, so that's kind of rude. So I only get to play songs like Joe Magarac when I'm doing sets of my own, and that's harder and harder to come by because, like a lot of venues right now. And look, my dream, my ideal life, wake up in the morning thinking about where I'm playing tonight and spend the whole day preparing for the performance. Ideally, playing for a different audience every night. Like Bruce Springsteen's got his thing on Broadway. People don't go to every single show. Every night he has a different audience. Other guys like me were itinerant, different club every night. But right now, a lot of places are still being kind of cautious because of COVID. And, a lot of the older songwriters, they seem to be content to sit in front of their laptops and play to a Zoom meeting. And, I like to get out and write, face to face with people where you can kind of read the room. It's like going to a party. You want to bring something that people are going to enjoy, but you also want to bring something that everybody else isn't bringing. You want to bring something special. And so, I know I can bring something special. I can bring something to the party that nobody else is going to bring. I just need somebody to throw a party, so I'll play. So that's a big thing, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, I want to come and play there, so contact the Little Wretches. Let me know about the coffee shops and the clubs and the acoustic venues. It's just going to be me and my guitar. If you love the roar of Undesirables and Anarchists, you're not going to get that, but you'll get these good songs, and I can connect with an audience.
And you certainly do a great job as well too. And what else can we expect from me in 2021 and beyond, Robert? What else you got?
Well, one of the products that you were advertising, Mike, when you're holding up the flyer, you said, who doesn't miss grandma's meatballs? Well,
I love grandma's meatballs. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, one of the dishes in my ethnic background, we used to, for holidays, especially around Easter, we used to have this little concoction of red beets and horseradish. And a few years ago, I just got a hankering, I'll never see my grandmother again. I'll never see my grandfather again, but I'm going to make some red beets and horseradish. So I went online and looked up recipes, and I found out that there's actually symbolism to it. So the album that we're working on now is called Red Beets and Horseradish. And the symbolism for the various ethnic groups, like for the Serbs, it's the red of our people's blood, and the horseradish is the bitterness of their suffering. For a lot of other people, it's the red is the blood of our Savior, and the horseradish is the bitterness of his suffering. For people who are Jewish, since they don't consume any blood, the horseradish is symbolic of their bitterness of suffering in the desert, but the red of the beets is just for flavoring. And I look at it, red beets and horseradish is in some ways symbolic of what the Little Wretches are. Red, like the blood of our people. Beets, that earthy. I mean, I love beets, but there's some people who don't like them because they say they taste like dirt. Like, yeah, well, my grandmother says you got to eat about 2 bushels of dirt in your lifetime if you really want to say you lived. So red, blood of our people. Beets, the sustaining roots that you pull out of the ground, and horseradish, that kind of fiery spice that might be a little too much for some people. And that's what the Little Wretches are. So when we finish this album, Red Beets and Horseradish, it has a lot of really well-written, powerful songs, some loud, some quiet. And no, you're not going to get it from anybody else. We're the only ones that are going to make this album.
Wow.
Hopefully it'll knock some doors open for us. I was mentioned before we came on the air that it has like a lot of like kind of religious content, Christian content. Because the characters, when you're under hard times, you got to live by the grace of God and live through faith. You don't necessarily know where your next meal is coming from. You're lucky to have a roof over your head. And so a lot of the characters on this album are people who have nobody and nothing. They're sick, they're old, they're crazy, and they're depending on God for every step of the way. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. But the thing is, we're not really part of the Christian music community. I know Christian radio stations are going to play us. And mainstream radio stations, they might have a little bit of a hard time with some of the content. But, it's People seek and ye shall find. If you're looking for good music, you'll find it through the Little Wretches.
And you certainly do a great job as well too. Every time I think of horseradish, it's like I have to have it with roast beef, prime rib, and everything else is supposed to neutralize. And I'm thinking about right now, it's like I have to tell my family we got to have some horseradish in honor of you, along with the red beets. So we'll do that. So,
well, a buddy of mine who's Polish, he got some fresh horseradish and he was grinding it himself in his house. I've only bought it prepared, already in a jar. And man, that stuff was so strong. If you walked into his house, your eyes would start to water. That's how powerful that horseradish was. It's just a little bit is enough to give it some flavor.
Wow. Every time I think about putting tears in your eyes, I think of onions for some reason. So
yeah. Well, that's that I remember when I was a kid. We'd have to go out and play when our mom was cooking onions. Another big dish in our ethnicity was liver and onions. And if I go to a diner and they have liver and onions on their menu, I order liver and onions in honor of my grandmother.
That is interesting. In fact, I'm going through my journal right now. It's just like with my grandma with chicken noodle soup or like egg rock soup. And I think there's also some goulash. And I'm trying to think, it's like, boy, it's like, it's just countless. I mean, next time we'll have you on the show and talk about red beets and horseradish. We'll have to come up with some interesting recipes and some amazing ones. Maybe a little cookbook on the show next time I have you. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you the other thing that goes along with we would put the red beets and horseradish on hard-boiled eggs. And have you ever seen like the Eastern European, egg painting? They really, it's an art, the decorating the Easter eggs. And my family used to have a decorated Easter egg that was sent over to us from our people in the old country. And, usually once or twice a year, we would get a postcard from the Slovak Republic. And you could just see the handwriting was getting shakier and shakier and shakier. And I guess whoever was sending us the postcards just one day stopped sending them. But I had a cousin who just last year went back to the Slovak Republic and reconnected with our old family. So I'd like to get some of their original recipes, if they even know what they are. Like, the world is so different than it was, when my grandmother was living on a farm in her little village.
And I think that's something that's going to be extinct as well, too, the way things are going. It's like with farms and everything. But, next time we'll have you on as well, too. We'll talk more about food, your latest release and everything. Other than that, Robert, where can we find your latest material with Live at the Mattress Factory, Undesirables and Anarchists? And what's your website and how do people get a hold of you and where can people purchase your music?
Well, you look us up on the internet, littlewretches.com. Look up the Little Wretches on Facebook. Look up the Little Wretches on YouTube. If you use Spotify or whatever your streaming service is, just do a search for the Little Wretches. We're all over the place. But again, I ask you that if you are a real music lover, go to iTunes Store, download an album. Download a couple of the albums. That's really where we make our money from selling merchandise, and selling product. But if all you're going to do is stream it, put it on repeat and stream it 100 times.
That's a really good idea. I like that.
Stream it 250 times so that I make $1.
Did you hear that, guys? It's like, stream it 250 times so he gets $1. Let's see. I'm going to have to do the math later on right now. But oh my gosh. So once again, Robert Wagner of the Little Wretches with the latest release on the Mike Wagner Show. Robert, always a big thank you for your time. You're always amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date and make sure you keep in touch with all the recipes and everything. And when your new album comes out, we'll definitely have you back on. And not only you play it for us, we'll share recipes and have some good times. Robert, it's always a pleasure and always stay in touch.
Will do. Thank you, Mike.
Picture this photo books, where remembering is the key ingredient. Preserving memories, keeping the memories of your loved ones alive as they reach in and touch your heart. how beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whether it's a gift of past holidays, grandma's recipes, long ago moments, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809. Once again, that's 646-798-0809. Or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.